Hey runners, welcome to episode 25 of our stretch and stability series. Hopefully at this point you're really feeling the connection in your body, the increased stability, your improved mobility, and hopefully that's helping you with your running technique and also your running recovery. Cool, so let's get into it. We're going to be going through hip aeroplanes where we extend the hip and then get a little bit of rotation through the hip. Also working a little bit into the hamstrings there. And then we're going to be working on some glute strengthening with a standing side kick, isometric hold. They're going to be quite challenging. So coming into the hip airplane, this is where you're going to need the wall. So you're going to use the wall for support. And then in this case, I'm going to allow my right leg to come back. And just like a single leg RDL, I'm going to hinge from the hips, shifting the weight forwards, but trying to keep my spine neutral, chest upright. And then I'm going to reach down to the floor with my left hand. So coming into that RDL position. Once I'm in this end position here, we're going to add in a rotation where I'm rotating the hip in towards the ceiling and then lifting the gaze up towards the ceiling. I'm then going to come back to a forward position and bring the leg in. Okay, so let's do that again. So we're hinging at the hips. We can allow for a soft bend in the base leg, knee, and then from here, rotating in towards the wall, feeling that rotation through the hips, bringing the gaze up to the ceiling, and then coming down. We're coming in to a forward position and then coming back up. Okay, let's do 5 of these. So we're coming into rep number 3, getting that rotation through the hips. So it's like you're turning the foot out in the bottom position and then turning the foot back in and coming up. Okay, let's go again. Hinging forward, rotate in, bring the gaze up, and then come back in and the foot down. Let's do the last one. So hinging at the hips, rotating the hip in towards the wall, bringing the gaze up, and then turning that foot back in and coming up. Okay, let's go over to the other side. So now using support with my left hand against the wall, and my left foot is now coming back, and I'm reaching down for my right foot with my right hand, hinging at the hips, keeping a neutral spine, and then in this end point, rotating in towards the ceiling, bringing the gaze up, and then coming back in, and nice and upright. Let's go again, hinge forwards, allowing for a soft bend in that base leg, twisting in towards the wall, turning the gaze up towards the ceiling, feeling that rotation through the hips, coming back in, and coming up. Okay, let's come into rep 3, hinging forwards, rotating in, gaze up towards the ceiling, and then coming back in and up. 2 more, hinge forwards, reaching down for the foot, rotating in, and back up. Hinging forwards, rotate towards the wall, turning that foot out, feeling that rotation through the hips, turning back in, and coming up. Okay, so they're your hip aeroplanes. So getting a nice bit of extension through the hips, getting that external rotation where we're twisting the hip, turning the hip in towards the wall, and also working a little bit into the hamstrings as well. We're now going to work into the glutes, specifically the outer part of the glute, working on what's called hip abduction. Using support from the wall, we're just going to lift the leg out to the side and keeping the foot forwards, we're going to try to just hold in this position here. Okay, and we should really feel this activation in the outside of the hip, into the TFL and then into the glutes as well. So we can allow for a little bit of a lean into the wall. And don't worry if you're just out to here, that's totally fine. Just trying to lift that leg up as high as possible, holding, feeling that activation. 5, 4, keep the foot forwards, 3, 2, 1, good. And then from here, we're just going to go for reps, holding for about 1 second on each rep, trying to go a little bit higher. So 1, 2, 3, 4, last one, 5, good. Let's go over to the other side. So spin around. And then just starting with that isometric hold. So lifting the leg out to the side, keep the foot forwards, leaning a little bit into the wall, feeling that activation in the outer hip into the glutes, holding here. Don't worry if your leg isn't up as high as mine. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, into reps, holding for about 1 second on each. 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5. Good. Okay, let's go back to our hip aeroplanes. So thinking about that single leg RDL motion. So I've got my right foot coming back here. I'm hinging at the hips, allowing that right foot to lift up, reaching down for my left foot. And then in the bottom position, I'm getting that rotation, turning the hips in towards the wall, bringing the gaze up, and then coming back to a more square position as I hinge back up. That's 1. 2. Hinging forwards, rotating in. 3. Really reach down for that foot on the floor. 4. And last one, try not to round the spine as you come down. 5. Good. Let's do the other side. So spin round, left hand on the wall. And then the left foot is coming back, right hand reaching down for the right foot. Keep that leg straight. Hinging, rotate in. 1. So coming down, linear, then rotating, then coming back with the hips square, and coming up. 3. 4. And last one, hinging forwards, rotating in for 5. Good. Okay, let's go back to our abduction work. So lifting the leg out to the side, starting with the isometric hold. So holding onto the wall, leaning into the wall ever so slightly. Keep the foot forwards, lifting out to the side, holding there for 15 seconds. Really try and lift the leg up. Try not to allow the foot to twist out to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Should really feel that burn in the outer hip. Let's go for 5 reps now. Make sure you're holding at the top of each rep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Over to the other side, starting with the isometric hold, leaning into the wall, lifting the leg out to the side, holding for 15 seconds. Keep the leg straight, toes facing forwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, shake it out. We're going to go into reps. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 2 more. 4, last one, and 5. Good. Okay, we're going to come back to the mat. So starting in a standing position, we're just going to elevate the heels, bring the heels down onto the floor, and then flex the toes up. So I'm elevating the heels, coming down, flexing the toes up. So just going for these calf and tib raises. Now don't worry if you've got a limited range of motion here, that's totally fine. If you're more advanced, you can really flex the toes up with those tib raises, but just trying to get that activation all through the lower limb, through the front of the lower limb and into the calf, the back of the lower limb. So just going for these dynamic tib and calf raises. A little bit of stability required here. Remember, if you can't stabilize, just reduce your range of motion. So just getting that initial activation through the calf and the anterior tibialis, front of the lower limb. And we'll just do 3 more. 3, 2, and last one, 1. Good. Okay, we're going to go into a split squat. So for this, I want you to just start by separating the feet, creating a nice long lunge position. And then with the back leg, we want to try and make sure that the hip is rotated in towards the right. So left hip rotated in towards the right. With this split squat, As opposed to maybe a lunge where you're dropping the knee down to the floor, we want to think about driving the right knee over the right foot to maximize your ankle dorsiflexion, which, if you remember, is your ability to drive your knee over your toes. So we're just going to move forward. So moving forwards and down, driving that right knee over the front foot. And then just in this end range, we're just going to ever so slightly lift up the heel. So we're getting deep into this split squat position. And then we're going to push off that front foot. So we'll go again, driving the knee over the toes. Make sure you maximize this range before you get that little elevation in the heel, and then pushing back up. We're going to go for 5 reps here. So that's 3. Should be feeling a bit of a stretch in the left hip as we go down as well. 4. And then last one, make sure you maximize the dorsiflexion before you lift the heel. And 5. So make sure that you're driving the knee right over the toes before you then elevate the heel at the end of the motion. So let's go with the left foot forwards now. So stagger the feet, so you've got a nice separation between the feet. And then we're just going to move forwards, driving the left knee over the left foot, and then lifting the heel in that end range and coming up for 1, 2, 3. So driving the knee over the toes, then lifting the heel to go a bit deeper. 4. And last one, driving the knee over the toes, lifting up the heel, push up for 5. Good, let's go through this again. So starting with the calf and tib raises, elevating the heel, then flexing the toes up. So lifting up the heel, a little bit of a flex in the toes, dorsiflexing, and then getting that calf raise. Flexing back. Lift up the heels, flex the toes back. Good, keep it up. Remember, don't worry if you haven't got a big range of motion here. It can be hard with the element of stability. Just trying to lift the toes off the floor, lift the heel off the floor. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good. Okay, let's go back to our split squat. So we're going to start with the right foot forwards. And then remember to keep this hip rotated in. And then we're thinking about driving the right knee over the right foot, maximizing that dorsiflexion. And then in the end range, slightly lifting the heel off the floor to go deeper. Should be feeling a stretch in the left hip and pushing back up. We can have the hands on the hips or out to the side. 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5. Good, let's go to the other side. So bring the right leg back, make sure that right hip is rotated in. We don't want to be twisting out to the side. Thinking about driving now the left knee over the left foot. For 1, lifting up the heel, push back up. 2, 3, 4, and then last one, 5. Good. So we're going to think about the RDL that we visited earlier in the series. And what we're going to do is go for the RDL, but we're going to allow the body to just rotate in a little bit more. And then as we come up, we're going to drive the knee up with the opposite hand. So getting that contralateral motion. Okay, so thinking about the RDL, but we're also allowing for slightly more of a bend in the knee than we did previously. So hinging at the hips. And then here I'm going to think about bringing my left elbow towards my right knee, but not compensating by rounding with the spine. And then I'm going to drive the left knee in and bring the right hand up with the left knee. Okay, so I'm getting this rotation through the spine to generate a bit more power. So left elbow towards the right knee, and then driving the left knee up with the right hand, getting this lovely contralateral motion. Left elbow to right knee, drive up. Good. Let's do 2 more. So we're allowing that left leg to be slightly more bent than our RDL. 4. Let's do 1 more. Rotating in, And then driving that knee up with the right hand, getting that lovely contralateral motion. Okay, let's go now with the left leg on the floor. So the right leg's gonna start by coming back, and I'm reaching my right elbow in towards my left knee, allowing for a soft bend in the left knee. Okay, let's go. So rotating in, right elbow to left knee, and then driving up, bringing the left hand up with the right knee. Hinging forwards, not rounding with the spine. Right elbow to left knee, and drive up. Good, and again. Rotate in. Now, the more advanced you are, the more you're going to be able to really rotate in towards that knee and then generate that rotation through the spine. Whoa, lost my balance there. Tried to push it. Okay, let's go for one more. Rotating in, right elbow to left knee, and drive the knee up. Bring the opposite hand up, okay? So that's your standing contralateral motion, lots of stability required. We're now going into a heel elevated squat to focus on some stability, particularly through the ankles. So set the feet about shoulder width and then elevate the heels like you would in a calf raise and keep the toes gripped into the floor. Okay, so you really want to find that connection by gripping the toes into the floor. And then we're going to bring the arms out in front of the body, and then you're going to go down into a squat and try and think about keeping the shoulders above the hips as you come down. So we're coming down into a squat, trying to keep the shoulders above the hips. And then we can come all the way down, find your maximum point. Try not to go so far down that you can't come back up. And then you're going to push up from the toes into that top position again, trying to maintain that stability. Can be quite challenging. Okay, let's go again. So remember, you're trying to keep the shoulders above the hips. Okay, you might feel like you want to either fall back or shift the weight forwards. Try and be really strict with your form. And coming down as far as you can go. You'll feel when you've pushed it, because you'll feel that you won't be able to come back up. Okay, and then push up from your toes. That's 2. Almost lost my stability there. Let's go for 5 reps. Okay, coming down. 3. And this movement is forcing the knees to drive forward, which is going to strengthen this muscle called the VMO, which provides support and stability to the knees. Okay, let's go again for 5. Keep the shoulders above the hips. Push up off the toes. Nice. Cool, we're going to go back to our RDLs. So let's start with the right foot as the base foot. And then if you remember, we're trying to rotate the left elbow in towards the right knee, and then coming up with that contralateral motion, left knee, right hand in this case. So set up like you would for an RDL, soft bend in the right knee, hinging forwards, rotating that left elbow in towards the right leg. And then I'm coming up, driving my left knee up with my right hand. And again, rotating in, hinging forwards, and come up. Now, if you are comfortable with this, you can try and generate a bit more power as you come up. So really try and drive that knee up as you lift. It can be quite hard to maintain stability. So we're loading through the rotation here, and then we're creating that power by driving the knee up. Okay, let's do one more. Hinging forwards and driving that knee up. Nice. Let's go over to the other side. So stabilizing with the left leg and then rotating the right elbow in towards the left knee. Hinging forwards, rotate in, and then drive up. Left hand with the right knee. And again, hinging forwards, rotating in, creating that rotation through the spine, generating that power, driving the knee up and in. And again. 3. 2 more. 4. And last one. 5. Nice. Okay, good. Let's go back to our chest squat. So elevating the heels, keeping the shoulders above the hips, feet shoulder width, hands out in front of you. And we're going to go for 8 now. Okay, so keep those heels elevated. Remember, only go down to a distance where you feel like you can come back up. Okay, let's go. So knees come forward, shoulders above the hips. And push up. 1. We can move a bit faster now. 2. 3. Try not to lean forwards. 4. 5. 6. Last 2. You got this, guys. 7. 1 more. Last one. 8. Good. Cool. That concludes our section on core and stability. Well done, runners. Hopefully you enjoyed today's session. And next time you're out running, I hope that you can really feel the benefits, feeling more stable, more connected in your body. See you soon.